So my name is Reg Grant. I'm a strength coach from New York. And pretty much I'm just looking at the connection between analytics and monitoring and the athlete. How does the technology impact on the ground when it gets applied?
Yeah. So the first question is, how do you take the science of HRV and use it practically in elite sport?
I think the key point is not how we use it, but it's how to find a way to effectively use it. And we're still searching through that process. So it's being able to collect at the right time when you get clean data, good data, that's not interrupted. And that is involved with collecting outside of the time the player is with us. So it's trying to find the right balance. Haven't found it yet, we're still working on it, but it's to make sure you get good data.
And in your talk, you mentioned about the importance of culture in building a successful monitoring program. Could you explain that a little bit?
So the environment that the players live in every day, and that's the culture evolved with what do people stand for, why are they there, how do you trust, all the different things around their interaction. If that's set up correctly and it's transparent, the athlete will feel safe and they'll be in an environment where they're more accepting and open to different things. But a culture is really something that from the people that run the team, it's a common theme and a common thread of why are we here, what are we doing, what do we value as individuals, and it needs to involve everyone from staff to players, and with an understanding that the player is the one on the ice competing, and we need to build things around them to make them successful and be supported.
And back to HRV, if you were going to pinpoint the main benefit for you over the years when you've used it, what would that be?
To get an understanding of when things are changing with an athlete that we might not see with our eye. So with certain questions, with certain things, HRV will give us an unfiltered view of what's occurring.
And you touched before on the athlete buy-in. How have you gone about securing it? And do you think it's changed over the years as players get used to technology?
Yes, the buy-in has completely changed because what they're seeing, they're used to seeing. Before, when we started, it was all new. So there was some hesitation, there was some fear. Now it's a common thing. The key of it is to make sure that whatever we do, the athletes see the value and the benefit. You can't just do something for the sake of doing it and having fancy numbers. You need to take the numbers around, be able to give it back to the athlete in a very simple way, but a meaningful way so it impacts decisions they'll make.
And that might touch on the next question. You talked about finding the signal in the noise. What do you mean by that? Is that...
There are so many things that surround an athlete, from the environment, the city, the building, their families, their friends, their teammates. There's just so much around. And when you start to evaluate different things like HRV or any type of heart rate measure, there can be many circumstances the athlete is in. So the measurements may occur after a game, before a game, after a practice, before a practice, after travel, and you need to be aware of what those situations are. So when you start interpreting and analyzing the data, it doesn't get all jumbled together. And that's my view of noise. If you have too many things and you don't know where they came from, there's just too much noise and the information that you can act on is not there. So you need to make it as simple as you can and then work forward.
And more sports specific, with your experience in the NHL, where have you seen the biggest stresses and loads with players? When do they occur?
Well, the biggest stress is a game. That, without a doubt, that's one of the things that happens from a physical exertion standpoint. But there are so many other factors with family life, with the dynamic between players, dynamic between the players and the coach, the players and management. And there isn't one aspect of that that's the most important. It's that they all play a role, and we need to understand what things are stressing or affecting the athlete as we move forward.
And if there was one piece of advice you could give somebody who wanted to improve their player monitoring program, what would it be?
Listen to your athletes, observe the situation around you, and make sure you're crystal clear on what types of things are going to be effective before you act.